Sports, 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 sports.
Hey there, sports fans. Welcome to Sportsball, part of the SPDM Crew Podcasting Network. We talk about sports-related topics, but we focus on you, the fan, and what you like, whether it's a sport, team, event, sports-related news, or an athlete. So, two quick updates on things. One, my March Madness bracket officially sucks, as is the case with a lot of people. But I'd like to go through some picks that I'm particularly proud of, which is good. It's good. I do like this. So I think some of the best picks that I had didn't even make it out of the second round. So I think I did correctly pick a couple of upsets. 8-9 does not count as an upset, but it's all good. But I did I did correctly pick that Kansas was going to get knocked out pretty early. I had them going out in the first round, but California Baptist they at least made somewhat of a game of it. So I'm at least semi proud of the fact that uh, I did foresee Kansas not you know not going very far in the tournament. In addition to that, I did say that Texas A&M was going to beat St. Mary's. That's a 10-7 matchup. Again, not a huge thing or anything like that, but still one to at least be semi noticeable. And then other than that, that's really about it. Everything else were bad picks. So some of the bad picks, I had Tennessee going out pretty quick, which was incorrect. I also had another decent pick of mine. I did have Kentucky losing in the first round, but they also didn't make it very far anyway, so all good there. A couple other my bad picks. I thought Alabama was not going to do very well in March Madness because they had one of their top players was recently arrested. So shame on me for that. I had Florida making it to the Final Four, as I'm sure lots of other people did. So that was a big fumble on my part. I also did have Gonzaga going pretty far as well, but I didn't have them going up against, or I had them going up against Arizona. So that was kind of a flub for me. And then also I had Miami having a good March Madness run, and they didn't. So they kind of messed up pretty good there. I had Wisconsin advancing to the Sweet 16, and that was blatantly wrong. And then I guess one of the last ones is that I did have Illinois not making it very far in the tournament. And same thing with Nebraska. Maybe it's because I'm damaged from all the Fred Hoiberg stuff. I can't do it because of his, just crap streak with the Chicago Bulls. As for the women's bracket, women's bracket has been pretty chalk so far. All four of my final four teams are still in because I chose mainly number one picks. And then, as of this recording right now, UCLA is up pretty good against Oklahoma State, so that should be an easy advancement. And then I think the only two teams that I did not pick in the Sweet 16, which means 14 or currently 13 out of 15, I had advancing, and that was Virginia beating Iowa, which I don't think a lot of people had, but hey, that's okay. I'll take that as a win. And then the other one that I incorrectly predicted was I thought that Notre Dame was going to make it out against Ohio State, and that, or no, I thought Ohio State was going to beat Notre Dame in the second round, and that did not happen. So hooray for me, I suppose. The other thing that's happened recently is that I recently drafted my fantasy baseball league, and I am not very confident in this team at all, but hey, we'll see what happens. I've loaded it up with mainly starting pitching. Uh, I only have one relief pitcher, but it's all good. So here is my team in a nutshell. I've got Salvador Perez as my starting catcher on the Kansas City Royals. I've got Alec Burleson for my first baseman, who is on the St. Louis Cardinals. I've got Otto Lopez, my second baseman on the Miami Marlins. Junior Caminero from my third baseman on the Tampa Bay Rays. I've got Geraldo Perdomo, who is my shortstop. Luis Garcia Jr., who is my second baseman, third shortstop split. For my first baseman, third baseman split, I got Wilson Contreras for the Boston Red Sox. My outfield, I've got Stephen Kwan for the Cleveland Guardians. I've got Brent Rooker from the Oakland Athletics. I've got George Springer from the Toronto Blue Jays. And then I've also got James Wood from the Washington Nationals. My utility players, I've got Andy Pages, who is an outfielder on the LA Dodgers. And then I've got Michael Harris II, who is an outfielder on the Atlanta Braves. I've got Colt Keith on my bench, who is kind of serving as like a Swiss Army knife. It could be a DH, could be a second baseman, could be a third baseman. He's in the Detroit Tigers. And then I have Austin Wells as a backup catcher on the New York Yankees. My pitching is kind of all over the place, but my first pick was Kristofer Sanchez, a starting pitcher for the Philadelphia Phillies. My second pitching prospect was Yoshinobu Yamamoto, starting pitcher for the Los Angeles Dodgers. And then I had Joe Ryan, starting pitcher for the Minnesota Twins. I also had Ranger Suarez, starting pitcher for the Boston Red Sox. I had Brian Abreu, who is a relief pitcher for the Houston Astros, the only relief pitcher I have on my squad. Cade Horton, starting pitcher for the Chicago Cubs. I've got Merrill Kelly, who's currently out until mid-April, but I have him as a starting pitcher on the Arizona Diamondbacks. I also have Michael Wacha, who that is a very old school pick for that, but starting pitcher on the Kansas City Royals. I also have another one, Seth Lugo, as a starting pitcher on the Kansas City Royals. And then Brandon Woodruff, starting pitcher on the Milwaukee Brewers. And then finally, I had Shane Smith, starting pitcher on the Chicago White Sox. That is my team. I'm not feeling very confident about it, but I'm still going to just try my best and see how it goes from there. But are you excited about opening round of baseball? How's your March Madness brackets doing? Let me know in the comments below, but that's going to do it for this episode of Sportsball. Be sure to like, rate, and subscribe to anything and everything SPDM Crew, wherever you get your podcast. Join us on social media on Facebook, Instagram, X Threads, YouTube, LinkedIn, and Blue Sky at SPDM Crew. Shout out to HiFlyer Creative Studios for making our awesome logo. Greatly appreciate their support. And if you've got any marketing, logo, or brand standard needs, contact them at HiFlyerCreative.com. Check out the other shows on our network. We're really proud of the content that everyone's putting out, so please check out the other shows on the SPDM Crew Podcasting Network. And finally, if you've got a podcast idea, or you're interested in being part of the SPDM Crew as a guest or collaborating, email us at gmail.com. Until next time, pain heals, scars, glory lasts forever.